Hello. I thought today we would visit a little bit about another thing that happened in my youth. I was raised, as you know, in a farm and ranch operation. We did a lot of diversified farming. We raised crops for people to eat. We had watermelons, we had cantaloupes, we had tomatoes, black-eyed peas. But today's the story about watermelons. We used to have a field that we cultivated for the purpose of raising watermelons for the market. There was a wholesale fruit company in Oklahoma City that took all the watermelons that we raised, and sometimes we would have more than what they needed. And so Dad would peddle them through town, particularly some of the areas where there were some colored people living. They had a great liking for watermelons. And one day I had gone with Dad. Now, we were in a pickup truck and we had the back loaded with melons. And what we'd do is pull into a block, a street of houses, and get out and yell watermelons for sale. And people would come out and gather around the truck, and we would hand them. They were 50 cents a melon was the going rate. And so I had gone with Dad this particular day, and we had stopped and we were selling the melons to people. And pretty soon all the people that had gathered around had gotten their melons, except one older Negro lady. She was standing there, and Dad said, "What can we help you with, ma'am?" And she said to Dad, and she had an accent, an Oklahoman accent. She says, "My man's doesn't get paid till Friday. Says, I don't have any money to buy a melon today." And we were down pretty low in our load, about ready to go home. And Dad said to her, "Well, if you wanted to pick out a couple of melons, says I'd give them to you, and you can pay me the next time I come down the street." This is indicative, this next little bit, indicative of some of the problems that we had in an area then, and it didn't need to be a problem. Anyway, she looked at Dad and she says, "You means you, a white man, give me, a colored lady, credit?" And Dad said, "You're good for it, aren't you?" And boy, she stood up straight and she looked him in the eye. She says, "You bet I is." And Dad said, "Well, pick out what you want." And she said, "Could I get 2 melons?" Dad said, "Sure." And so she picked out her 2 melons, and we left. Well, it was about almost 2 weeks before he went back down that street. And again, I happened to be with him. I didn't go with him all the time, but I happened to be with him as we turned the corner going down to the street. There was a lady about halfway down the block where we had stopped before. She's sitting out next to the street in a lawn chair. And when she sees the truck turning down the road, she jumps up and starts to waving her hands, coming to her. And so we pulled right up beside her. And she says, "It's been 2 weeks. I was afraid you weren't going to come back and I would owe you the money." She had a lot of integrity. She bought 8 melons that day. Anyway, I love the people and their attitudes toward being good and true. You know, I have said it on these before, that the good things in life we pay for before we get them. The bad things we pay for after we've had them. And that includes not only drugs and things that are bad, but it includes the good feelings that we have. We need to be a people who help others, who live a life so that others would like to emulate it. And that story of watermelons has been a priceless story of mine for years and years, because it showed good intentions and good people on both sides of any conflict that there is. You know, we make our life what it is, and we need to be compassionate, we need to be caring, we need to be friends. Have a wonderful day.